This is WJCL 22 News at 6. See us now.
As coronavirus cases surge across the country, local leaders share where things stand here in the hostess city. The Savannah Mall was evacuated today after several people started experiencing seizures all at the same time.
And the pleasant weather continues. I'm tracking when highs drop to the 60s in your certified most accurate forecast.
Thanks for joining us at 6 o'clock. I'm Jackson Kurtz. Tonight we begin with the news of Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp in quarantine tonight. This after the governor came in contact with someone who tested positive for COVID-19. The governor's office telling us both he and his wife have tested negative, but will continue to quarantine per Department of Public Health guidance. And this comes as Governor Kemp renews the COVID-19 executive order, extending the state's public health emergency order until December 9th. New tonight, Chatham County officials following in the footsteps of Georgia, extending their county-wide state of emergency another 30 days. That means masks will continue to be required in public places. Now, here's a look at the latest case numbers statewide. You can see cases each day have been above 1,300 almost every day the last 10 days. And as coronavirus case numbers climb across the country, Dr. Lawton Davis with the Coastal Health District says cases in our area are slightly declining. At the start of October, the Coastal Health District says our area saw a rise of cases.
We've had just a little bit of an uptick.
But the spike didn't last long. Health Director of the district, Dr. Lawton Davis, says since October 20th, COVID cases have declined, with our 7-day average of cases now at about 31.
7-day average is a little bit less than the 14-day average, which is always nice. That means the most recent week was had a little less activity than the week before.
Compared to the rest of Georgia, Davis says cases in Chatham County and the district aren't as high as some other spots.
Chatham County, as far as total cases, we're number 6 or 7. A district is pretty much in the, just in the pack. We're not one of those 2 or 3 that are way out in front of everybody.
And heading into Halloween on Saturday, Davis's advice is for folks to celebrate the holidays safely.
We've encouraged, people to go ahead and prepare bags of candy, when they can do it under sort of a controlled environment, and just put those out for, children to pick up if they are participating in the trick or treat. Hopefully we're going to have this long-awaited vaccine in the relatively near future, and hopefully it'll be safe and effective.
Dr. Davis says now is the time to begin planning for Thanksgiving and how you can host a gathering safely. And in South Carolina, the daily numbers have been relatively low since the massive spike last Saturday when the state added more than 1,200 new cases. And a bizarre scene at the Savannah Mall where some people had to be evacuated this afternoon after suffering from seizures at the same time. WJCL's Stephen Moody is live from the south side with more. Stephen, what can you tell us?
Jackson, this happened on the side of the mall that used to be a college, but is now a call center. As of now, there is still no word on what caused the people to have seizures, but crews on scene tell us that they used gas monitors to determine the air to be safe. Now, this all started at around 1:30 this afternoon. In addition to 3 people who suffered seizures, Chatham Emergency Services tell us that 2 people also complained of headaches and dizziness, but refused help. Chatham Emergency Services say that people who were inside were monitored for symptoms, but were determined to be okay. The shopping area of the mall was not impacted, and as a precaution, people were evacuated from the call center side while the building was aired out.
Very uncommon, and that's why we asked for the assistance of Savannah Fire's hazmat team to come in and secure the building to make sure we weren't dealing with some type of chemical issue or something along with that. It's very odd that 3 people in the same classroom would have a seizure.
Now, those 3 people were taken to the hospital. There's still no word yet on the condition. We actually reached out to MCI, who owns that part of the building. We have yet to receive a response. Reporting live tonight here in the south side of Savannah, Stephen Moody, WJCL 22 News.
All right, Stephen, thank you. Today was the grand finale of early voting in Georgia, and hundreds turned out to cast their ballots. Several people across Chatham County waited until the last day of early voting to head to the polls. The lines at the voter registration office were moving much quicker than when early voting first began 2 weeks ago. As people waited, they shared why they wanted to make sure they got to the polls to cast their ballots.
Looking at the state of the country, I think that it's important for our voices and votes to count.
Yeah, it's very important, especially what we've been going through the past couple of years. You know, regardless of who you vote for, our votes count.
And if you didn't get the chance to vote early, you will have also the opportunity at your assigned voting precinct on Election Day next Tuesday. Now let's take a look at the record-breaking number election officials are seeing across the state. There are 7.5 million registered voters in Georgia. So far, nearly 4 million votes have already been cast. In Chatham County, nearly half of all registered voters have already cast their ballots. And as of last night, all votes received have been processed, so which means all election officials have to do now on election night is count them. And candidates in one of the country's most contested Senate races are going head-to-head in their final debate before the election. South Carolina incumbent Senator Lindsey Graham and challenger Jamie Harrison. It starts tonight at 7, and that's being streamed on SCE TV. And a final debate between Republican Senator David Perdue and Democratic challenger Jon Ossoff set for Sunday is no longer happening. It was canceled after Perdue dropped out, saying instead he would attend a campaign rally with President Trump in Rome, Georgia. And that rally in Georgia with President Trump will be this weekend. He's set to hold a Make America Great Again victory rally in Rome, Georgia, Sunday night. And Senator Kamala Harris will also be in Georgia this weekend, but the Biden-Harris campaign hasn't released when or where that visit will be. And as soon as we get that information, we'll let you know. Now let's take a look at some of the latest national polling data. According to the poll by Rasmussen Reports, former Vice President Joe Biden is at 49% nationally, while President Trump is at 46%, both among likely voters. And for all your latest political headlines, including our voter guide for residents in Georgia and South Carolina, absentee ballot drop box locations, and much more, visit the Commitment 2020 section of our website, WJCL.com. All right, we want to get over to meteorologist Victoria Coquinos. Victoria, thankfully, weather won't be an issue on Election Day. What are we expecting this weekend, though, before?
Thankfully, more cool weather in the forecast. We had that cold front come through last